Ahoy, lads! Welcome back to another item review. Not to be confused with PewDiePie's meme review, but nonetheless, that is what we are going to be doing today. All of the new exotic items that just came out of the eggs, that is what I'm going to be reviewing today, if it wasn't obvious. And I think there's nothing else to do but to get started. First things first, I have to summon them all. Alright. Don't worry about the fact that my death chant also made it dark. That doesn't matter. What matters is that all of the items are here now. So, take a look at all of these beautiful items. Might I say, this one's looking great just immediately. What else do we got here? We got a, just a giant tower. That's great. That's probably gonna be great. We have a tank. I like that. And we have a egg. Let's just start with the basics. We'll go one by one. Explosive Refiner. Great touch on the name, by the way. Let's go ahead and buy a raised mini conveyor, because that is what it's going to need. And that is points deducted already for being a raised upgrader. This upgrader, very simple, vanilla, everyday upgrader. Does exactly what you would want it to do. Gives you more money than if it hadn't gone through the upgrader. Is this a good version of what I just said, though? I will say it's a life 20 upgrader, so 4 times isn't necessarily bad. What's even more interesting, though, is if you were to have this mine, for instance, it'd be 10 times going through the upgrader. So that's a nice touch. That's what makes it unique. That's its special quirk right there. Am I going to use it? Well, no, of course. But it is nice. If you do have it and you're life 20, consider yourself a 6 out of 10. Here we have the Cactus Mirage. Bonus points for being a larger upgrade. Also deducting points for being a larger upgrader. This one's also pretty simple. Multiplies your ores by 5, and it makes your ores moist, which basically means they're fireproof temporarily. Do I need to show an example of this? I suppose I will. Look, your ore doesn't catch on fire. Woo! Is it good? Well, it's life 150, so I don't see it being used that much, but I guess if you have infinite space, wouldn't hurt just to chuck another 5 times in there. Another 6 out of 10. One of my personal favorites, just by the appearance alone, the chicken leg cookout. I like these particles that are coming off of it. Makes it just look absolutely stupendous and edible. Time to see the upgrade. 2008 chicken leg sound effect. Nice touch. 3.5 times. However, it's not that enormous. So, I would really say the main use for this upgrader would be if you just want to hear this every second. Which makes me want to throw a wubbium mine on this. Holy. Oh, what a shame you can't spam it. Alright, points deducted for that. Thank you for the 2 research points. Good? Not really, but it's a chicken leg, so you're going to use it. Also, this wall is part of the eggs, so that is really just one of the greatest things. Like you find an egg and you're like, oh man, you're so excited, and what do you get? You get another wall. That's basically how I feel about it taking up an inventory slot. The vault processes your ores depending on how much the Roblox stock market either sucks or doesn't suck. I'd say that's a solid not sucking right now, so I would presume that it would multiply ores by 74. How unexpected. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. Something notable about this is that this is one of the life 1 items, so this is actually really good in the early game if you do manage to get this at that life. So any of my newcomers watching this, this is a good item. That being said, it also kind of looks nice, so there's that. It just had to... Never mind, it's bad. This thing looks interesting. Also looks really good to have a ore be shot out of it. Oh! That makes it good. So you can raise and lower it depending on how your base is cooking. Something worth noting is it's only 4 times. However, it does give your ore a force field effect. So for instance, if a big bad blaster was going to absolutely obliterate your ore originally, it wouldn't with the force field. Except for the fact that your ore still might fall off the conveyor belt. But that being said, that is a nice touch. This might actually be used in some later game setups. This thing is weird. It's a giant hat, and it upgrades your ores very interestingly. Also, it's a way up high upgrader, which means, by default, you know the rules, it sucks. However, let's take a peek into the goods on the inside. Okay, just throw a little boogie on there and throw an oogie at the end, and let's see the duty. The dookie, I meant. 6 times. Nothing. 6 times. I'm sorry? Those ores have shade. They have shades. I like that. Okay, so it makes your ore either a meme or it gives it an actual upgrade. Or makes it gold. When it does the 1 times upgrade, it gives your ore a force field instead of an upgrade, which I guess is a okay trade-off. However, when I'm looking to use items, I'm looking primarily for money, not to give my ore shades. But then again, everybody's looking for different substances, different flavors in the world, you know? So, this could be useful for someone else. Never mind, it's a life 100 required. The chance of you using this is unlikely. Huh. Okay, so this is very unique. You need a molten forge to make this thing do anything. And once that happens, is it an area of effect upgrader? Oh. So it's another one of these. I can get behind that. This is actually great. This might be the best thing out of this entire lineup of items. Well, nothing else that needs to be said about this. Get this item, because it'll actually do some changes to your setup. The only side effect of this is you need to have a miner setup for it, but I mean, it's 1 item. I don't know if you need to use a Wubbium mine to get it to really do its thing, but that's what I used for this instance. Can it be stacked with the Cosmic Tower? I'm assuming yes, but there's only one real way to find out. Beautiful. Look at that absolutely magnificent number from 2 items that are nowhere near the ore. I can get behind this. Just a casual 700 times upgrader. You know, just it's rookie money. It's whatever. Okay, so this is unique. Basically, you got people on your base. Your zombie over there not doing enough work. Get this. It obliterates anyone that comes within range. However, I don't have a meat subject to use as an example. So you just have to take my word on it that I have entered someone's base before and had the displeasure of meeting one of these. Although it really doesn't do that much damage to you. It basically just tells you to get off the person's base. Something else that's interesting though is that it doesn't like this mine. So I'm gonna see this. Oh! Nice. Soapy refiner. Got an ore that's not good. Take this item, put it in your furnace, it'll be slightly less not good. So, 3 times upgrader, makes your ore nice and clean and wet. And it removes bad status effects. So it's just an all-around okay 6 out of 10 upgrader. It's also for life 1, so that's actually pretty good. Might make life 1 a little too easy, but hey, I don't make the rules around here. Hi. This is probably the most bare bones upgrader out of them all, meaning it doesn't really do anything out of the ordinary. You put it through, and it upgrades your ores by a random amount that doesn't vary too much. Is it good? Maybe if it was a little smaller, but it's okay, I suppose. Upgrade amount is between 6 and 8 times, so that's not terrible. Neat. I'm curious though, does it do any actual upgrades during that? No. However, I guess it looks cool. It's got spooky ghosts. It's okay though, I could see this being used because, I mean, at the end of the day, it is another teleporter, just with some style points. Here we have the brother of the Vestarian upgrader. It does a 4.5 times, which considering its size and size of the upgrader, that's actually pretty good. Also has a chance to poison your ores, so that's not so pretty good. But if your life 100,000, then you could probably have something to revert those effects. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be using this, but it's not bad. Tankium mine. It's a mine that looks like a tank and shoots your ores way too far for it to be even practically used for ores, you know. However, its main use is destroying the sentry, which I already showed you earlier. So, is this thing actually useful? For setups? No. For gags? Sure. Time, space, scrambler. Okay, so let's go ahead and throw the most basic of mines into it. That came out a little larger than I recall. So it's 5 times, which in itself is not bad. However, your ore either becomes huge or tiny, depending on what sort of mood the upgrader is in. So practical, maybe if your setup isn't that dependent on your ore size, but sometimes your setup can need very precise ore measurements for the upgraders, so I don't know about this one. I'm just waiting for one of these ores to turn out like the tiny iron mine ore, where it's the size of 13 barns, but I don't think that's going to happen. Can I throw the tiny iron mine ore into this? Here, there's no hope of actually getting into the upgrader, so I'm just going to try and slam it into it and see if it does anything. There we go. No, that's just going to kill me. Now, I was going to try and like somehow glitch it inside of the upgrader, but that's obviously not going to happen, so unfortunately that won't be useful. Borker's Luxury Villa. The absolute Gucci doghouse, and we're going to see if it sucks or not. Why, yes, it does kind of suck immediately because it's only a 1 wide upgrader, which will make getting your ore in there a little bit more precise. However, it is 7 times, which isn't necessarily bad, and it also gives your ore another effect, which is more moist related. So, it's actually okay. Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I said okay, not use this immediately for every single setup. It's the God-given savior. I think the radio tower is the only one that's going to get that comment. This thing is quite strange. Basically, have your ore within radius of this, and it is going to have its material changed depending on whatever value the ore has in upgrades. So, for instance, an ore that hasn't been upgraded at all, it's going to get a 6 times effect and become clouted with diamond sparkles. The full setup, you know. If your ore, for instance, doesn't suck as much, though, so we're going to grab a quantum ore cleaner. Okay, let's see how it fares now. Gets changed into gold. Basically, it still upgrades your ore, just not by much. It also changed it to emerald, though. I guess it just depends on whatever mood it's in. It can also make your ore a ruby, which sets it on fire as well, so that's interesting to say the least. However, it seems to be not as common as the gold and emerald. Gold's the worst, by the way. Gold is only 3 times. Emerald is 4 times, ruby is 5 times, and the diamond one is the 6 times one. But your ore needs to suck in order for it to get that upgrade. So is it really that good? Well, its appearance, yes. But its actual practical use, not especially, to say the least. And that is all of the new exotics that have came from this update. Keep in mind, the older ones were also featured, but I've already reviewed those, obviously, so I'm not going to include them again. I think I have a video for that as well, if you want to watch it, though. However, I am going to review this thing, too, and see what this thing's all about. Looks like an over-glorified Schrodinger, just from the looks of it. Probably sucks more than the average Schrodinger does, too. Only one way to find out, though. Shocking. It isn't good. However, this is an item you could get pretty much immediately in your game. So, it's not supposed to be good. So, I will at least commend that. Oh, that is also a rare effect where it adds 1 million to your ore. Which, when you're life 1 with like $100,000, for instance, that would actually be very good. So that is actually good for a life 1 in the literal fetus stage of the game, where they just started playing, they don't know anything about anything. This would actually be quite useful to have at the start of their setup. However, outside of life 1, it is an obvious Z. Alright, so that is all the items that I have to review today. Some of them were actually a pleasant surprise. Some of them were the usual, and some were just bad, like this, for instance. It looks nice, but it's a wall, so you can only get so much out of it. Thank you for watching my verbal essay on why some of the items suck and why some don't for this update. I hope you all enjoyed this, what's this supposed to be? Entertainment? Also, to the people who commented about the bass music, thank you, because, yeah, just pressing 0 does make it so that it's just default music. Okay, I think it's time to skedaddle.
Swag, 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 swag.